David, thanks. Widespread damage today in Two Rivers after those severe storms hit Sunday night. City officials say this damage now estimated at more than $100,000. More than 2,000 households still without power at this hour. Samantha Cavalli live in Two Rivers, where you can hear that cleanup is still very active. Samantha.
Right, Cami, and within the last 10 minutes to air, we learned from the National Weather Service that actually more than 100 trees had fallen and uprooted in just 6 minutes from yesterday afternoon's storms. We're actually just outside of the public library here, where you might be able to hear and see over my left shoulder just those efforts, those cleanup efforts continuing by city and public workers. You can see them continuing to cut down some of the trees that were uprooted in the front, and also we have a couple branches as well as a tree, as well as a wood chipper, over there as well. But this was just one of the several places that endured damage. As we earlier this afternoon, we actually went over to Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park, where strong winds left behind major damage at the softball fields there, and a dugout that had been bolted down was ripped up and thrown into a nearby field, damaging bleachers, fencing, and netting. We also went down Jackson Street, where dozens of trees were down, including one left hanging on power lines. Sybil Owlett lives just next door to this, and she says that she's been worried about those trees falling during any sort of storm, but feels lucky that they didn't hit her home.
It was blowing and blowing, and I seen it go real slow coming down, and it landed on the power lines, and I ran to the front door. I was really scared and everything, and it freaked everybody out. My 4-year-old's in the house freaking out. There's no power, no TV, no nothing. She can't do much of anything.